Hello everyone, welcome back to Coog Cinema Reviews. On the Game of Thrones recap, we got Game of Thrones intro playing in the background this time. Now we actually have video since we're filming this on time today. Sorry if we didn't have video last time since we did a little radio show. But on this episode you have myself, Eduardo Flores, and I'm joined today by
Samantha DeLeon.
And we're going to go over the episode 3, The Queen's Revenge. So, Samantha, what was your general thoughts on this episode?
I thought it was pretty good. It was really... I don't know, it was just, I couldn't believe that we were finally there, I guess. You know, it took 7 seasons to finally get to where we are. You know, Daenerys is finally in Westeros, and, Jon is finally meeting her, and, all this stuff, the war is finally happening, and, all that. So it's kind of unbelievable in a way, but I thought it was good. I thought it was, it's really hard to meet everybody's expectations about it. So I know a lot of people have, mixed feelings about it, but I was primarily satisfied. So
I would agree. Yeah, the whole meeting between Jon and Daenerys, it didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go. I definitely thought it was gonna be more of a easy kind of meetup, but we'll get more into that. Now we're gonna go scene, or rather, not scene by scene. We're gonna go land by land, kind of out of order how the show went, but we assure you we'll get covered about everything. So we start in Dragonstone. Of course, Jon and Davos arrive. They're greeted by Tyrion, and I always mess up her name.
Missandei.
Missandei?
Yes, I think
right.
That's how you say it.
And the Dothraki kind of take their weapons and their ship, so they're kind of stuck there now. But Tyrion and Jon kind of reunite, and give themselves a little where they left off.
Yeah, I really like how when they met up, you can see the sense of respect that they have for each other. I know that a lot of people especially to Sansa and to other people in the north, and I know that Dany and other people in Dragonstone are skeptical of Jon, and vice versa. But it was really nice to see that at least the chemistry that they had, that we witnessed for a little bit in season 1. How they at least trust each other and will are willing to listen to each other, because there's so many people in Game of Thrones who don't respect each other and will
right.
not listen to each other. So I thought it was really good that they met up again. I felt really happy seeing them kind of smile at each other and stuff. I thought they were gonna hug, but I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I think they're both mentally incapable of hugging each other at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
So they're broing it up, and they start walking. Tyrion's kind of giving an introduction to the place, and so is Missandei, kind of talking to Davos about her origin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then out of nowhere, the dragons surprise and scare Jon and Davos.
Yeah.
Tyrion makes a little remark. You'll get used to them.
Oh, he says, I would tell you that you'd get used to them, but you never really do.
Right.
Which I thought was so cool. I just thought that the way that Tyrion and Missandei just played that off, they were just kind of smiling, yeah, we have dragons, and just seeing the look on Sir Davos and Jon's face, oh my god, those are dragons. Those are 3 living dragons that just flew overhead, so much firepower just being exercised in front of them and stuff.
Well, I guess this would be about the first time that anyone from the north has seen dragons in, I guess, centuries, right?
Yeah.
1 second.
Done interrupting now?
Are y'all filming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're
No,
good.
it's okay.
I'll cut right there. Sarah, can you yell out your general thoughts real quick?
What do you mean?
Yell out your general thoughts of the episode.
My general thought?
Yeah.
Yes.
The episode we've been waiting for.
There you go.
I love it.
If you didn't hear that, she said the episode that we've all been waiting for. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right, so the dragons surprise Jon and Davos. This would be about the first time anyone from the north has seen dragons in centuries.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know, just imagining everyone else from King's Landing and stuff like that when they get to see dragons. See hundreds and thousands of people all have the same face that Jon and Davos have.
Yeah, exactly.
So from there we go to we cut to Varys, almost said Valeris, Varys and Melisandre, kind of I guess they're on this mountaintop. I'm assuming that would be the mountaintop where the dragon glass is.
Yeah.
So they're kind of just peeking.
Yeah, they're
from
just
afar.
watching Jon and Sir Davos come in, and she's, Melisandre's just being a little stalker, watching them. Yeah.
Considering their last meetup,
Yeah.
I would assume that she didn't want to get close, which is what Varys discusses. He asks her, why are you not down there greeting them? Melisandre goes,
Terrible mistakes that I've made.
we made a lot of bad mistakes. I burned
Yeah.
that little girl. Also, I kind of revived her from the dead.
Yeah.
I'm a mess up. So we learned that Melisandre is going to venture off to Volantis.
One last time, and
right.
Varys is kind of like, "Are you sure you want to go there?" And she's like, "I have to, because I'm destined to die in Westeros, like you are." And
which shakes Varys to the bone.
yeah, it kind of like shook me a little bit, because you know how like Melisandre can kind of like look in the flames and like, you know, I guess like see the future a little bit, not as well as like Bran can, but like I thought that was really cool that she was like telling Varys like, "Hey, like, I know how you're going to meet your end, like, just how I know I'm going to meet her end." Because I guess Varys can, like, is, you know, gotten away with so much. Like, I guess he has this sense of, I wouldn't say that he has a sense of immortality, but, like, he's really gotten away with so much. Like, from, you know, working for the Mad King, for King Robert, and then, you know, abandoning, you know, like, King's Landing, and then going and running off with Daenerys, and especially like everything that happened with the last episode with Daenerys confronting him about, you know, his disloyalty.
I guess he's like, she questions his loyalty to anyone, which makes sense considering everything that he's done.
Of course, of course.
He's just kind of cocky. He just kind of feels like, well, I made it this far, I can probably make it farther.
Exactly. So I really liked how she humbled him in that way.
Right, and up until this point, Varys has kind of been like a non-believer.
Yeah, definitely.
We're seeing that a lot in this season. We're kind of seeing this whole, I don't believe in a certain thing, but it turns out to be true.
Yeah, like definitely the power of faith and stuff. Which, speaking of faith, when Daenerys and Jon meet up, I thought it was so funny how Missandei just goes and names all of her titles and just, you know, really like shows how amazing Daenerys is. And Sir Davos and Jon really were not prepared. They were just like, "This is Jon Snow. He's King of the North." And I thought that was so funny, because I really enjoy the lighthearted moments in Game of Thrones, because they are funny, because it's usually pretty serious. But I thought that was like funny, and it just showed like the difference, I guess, between like the two.
Some of like the roads they've taken, because we also get a recap of like everything that's happened to Daenerys at this point. She kind of comes over how like she was sold on that slave trade, she was raped, stuff like that.
Yeah, she kind of like goes into like detail about everything that's happened to her to Jon, and then Sir Davos, you know, counters back and says everything that Jon's been through. But it was just very tense. I did not expect for it to be as tense as it was, but I mean, I don't know what else I was expecting, because I mean, you have like the Mother of Dragons, you know, everything that Daenerys has been through in the past 7 seasons, and the same thing with Jon. You know, two completely different paths finally crossing at this point, and so I don't know what I was expecting. I thought maybe it was going to go a bit smoother, but I mean, it made sense that they were, you know, both like on edge. You know, it made sense that you know, she wanted him to bend the knee, and it also made sense why he wasn't going to. You know, it made sense for both sides, and just seeing them both like actively like, "No, I'm not going to give you what you want." Like, I don't know, it kind of like gave me chills in a way. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're both like, you know, openly like defying each other, which I don't know, it was really, really satisfying to me in a way.
I guess I kind of expected it to be sort of like a mutual respect kind of thing. I didn't expect Daenerys to be out front hostile.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess she has every right to be, considering everything that's happened to her again. Going back to kind of what Davos, when he kind of counteracted what Daenerys was saying, he accidentally mentions
that Jon was stabbed in the heart.
Right.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of goes, "What?" And then
Jon is just kind of like, no, let's not go into that.
It's a figure of speech.
Yeah, exactly.
He kind of gives Davos like a look of, "Why did you say that?"
Yeah.
Which comes back up later in the episode, which we'll get to. It's kind of after they have this kind of tense moment, the stare down. Varys comes in and whispers something into Daenerys' ear. So at that moment, Daenerys kind of says, "Listen, you stay here. I'll come back with you later. Like, we'll just kind of think about what's going on."
Yeah.
And
Jon asks, like, "Am I a prisoner?" And she goes, "Not yet."
Right.
Which
Defiance.
which made me like, ooh, God. Like,
snap.
Yeah. So then after that, it goes.
We go to the war room.
Yes.
And Daenerys finally finds out what happened to Yara and Theon's fleet. Euron,
and
of course,
Alaria
burned it all to
Sand
them.
and her daughters, and that entire like battle scene and all that stuff in the previous episode was jaw-dropping to me, at least. I mean, of course, like the Battle of the Bastards takes the cake, of course, but I mean, like, it was just very unexpected, and just like I had never really seen Euron's wrath at that point. Like I'd seen him talk the talk, but I haven't seen him walk the walk.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing him walk the walk, seeing him, you know, I guess like be this ruthless guy that he says that he is, like really like I guess put things in perspective for me. Like, hey, like this is a guy who's just as crazy and, you know, like evil as Cersei, I guess.
Right.
And like I know that like what he wants is that he wants to be, you know, king of the seven kingdoms and all that stuff, and, you know, be on the Iron Throne. And like I guess like seeing him do all of that, like especially to like his own family members, like to Yara and to Theon, and to just like blatantly kill like, you know, half the sand snakes and stuff, like it made me like, I don't know, it made me think that this is not going to be like an easy war, because I thought that Daenerys really did have the upper hand in this, and now it's really, really leveling.
Yeah, especially what happens towards the end of the episode, which
Exactly.
we'll get to later.
Yes.
So after she finds out about this, Tyrion kind of goes to Jon, kind of consoles him and tells him, like, you know, I know that's kind of rough, but I can help you. Just ask for something that I can help you with.
Because he goes to Daenerys and he's just like, I need your help. I need your help fighting the White Walkers. And, you know, I understand, like, Daenerys, how, like, just hearing this is very absurd. I mean, like, the same thing with, like, people, like, not believing that there's dragons in the world. Like, it's something that you just have to see to believe. So I feel like Jon really could have approached that way better. So, like, with Tyrion's request, when he was talking to him, like, if you give me an actual request, you know, maybe I might be able to help you. I think that is really just shows, like, what Tyrion is really good at. He's really good at, you know, like, I guess being a good mediator and stuff like that, and like he's very wise and all that stuff. Like he definitely could have, you know, like gone and, you know, like, I don't know, he could have not offered Jon anything. He could have, you know, things could have gone very differently in their meeting, and, you know, things happened, I guess, the way that I expected them to. But I really like the way that him and Jon talk to each other, because, you know,
right. It's that respect thing.
Yeah, it's the respect thing, definitely. And I really think that like Tyrion helped Jon understand Daenerys a little more, right. Because it was just so tense, because both of them were like trying to seem superior to the other, and that's the thing. I don't think either one of them were superior to another. I think they've both gone through so much. And, you know, Melisandre, when she's talking to Varys, she says she's finally brought ice and fire together, which, you know, ice being Jon and, you know, fire being Daenerys, and, you know, that kind of playing on, you know, A Song of Ice and Fire, which is, you know, the book series, which Game of Thrones is based off of, you know, the title. So it was just, I don't know, it was just like, I'm really glad that Jon could actually ask for something that like he could get. Like, I don't know why he didn't go like in the first place and ask Daenerys like, hey, you have dragon glass and all that stuff. It just it felt like he kind of like tripped on his own tongue a little bit, I guess, when he was talking to her.
Well, I think he was just kind of going off of like, well, she has dragons, so let me just ask her that first.
Yeah.
But like you said, with the whole people don't believe in dragons either, I felt like that should have been kind of proof to what he was saying.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, people don't believe in dragons, but you have them. So it's like, I've seen White Walkers, so you probably should believe me since you have dragons.
Exactly. And like Tyrion makes some good points to Daenerys when they're talking, you know, like if what Jon is saying like isn't true, he wouldn't be there. Like, he has to like really believe, like, you know, what he's saying. Like, he's not going to travel all the way from Winterfell all the way to Dragonstone, like, for something that's a lie and stuff, especially when like everyone in Winterfell needs him right now. So I think that it was like humbling to both Jon and Daenerys. Like, they both kind of like got put in their place a little bit. Like, you know, Daenerys like was kind of told like, hey, like, just because you're this amazing person doesn't mean that every single person you meet is going to immediately bow down to you. And the same thing to Jon. You know, like, you have to realize that like your claim does sound ridiculous, like, to normal people. Because I'm trying to think about if I were in Daenerys' shoes, or I were anybody else in like Westeros, and hearing the stories of like, you know, the army of the dead and like the White Walkers and all that stuff. That's really hard to believe. And so it's one of those things where you have to see it to believe it. So I'm really glad that Daenerys finally like took Tyrion's advice. I mean, she has been taking his advice, but I really like how she took his advice, saying like, hey, you want an ally? Here, do something nice for him. Give him a reason to, you know, back you up and to bend the knee for you, which I liked. So, I mean, Daenerys didn't even know that the dragon glass was like there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Tyrion kind of gets Daenerys to give Jon the dragon glass.
To fight the White Walkers.
Daenerys and Jon meet up later, and that's when they kind of have this like, okay, I don't fully trust you, but for now, since he believes you, I'm going to believe in you. So here, you can start mining the dragon glass. And we kind of leave them from there,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's kind of, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like a mid ground, kind of like an impasse where they're just, I'm gonna do this. We're gonna watch each other and sort of become allies. At least
Yeah.
one would think that they would become allies.
Yes.
But we never know.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
We have 4 more episodes
Mm-hmm.
to see where that turns out.
Mm-hmm.
From there, we go to King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, first, Theon gets
Yes.
rescued by the remaining ships of the Greyjoy fleet.
Mm-hmm. He
They
tells
just
them,
make him feel further like he's nothing.
I mean, I understand that coming from the Iron Fleet. Like, I mean, Theon was the only one that got out of there. I mean, Yara is captured, you know, all that stuff. And then for Theon to go and say, like, I truly tried and all that stuff, you know, like, I think they immediately, like, saw past, you know, his BS.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying that, you know, everything that he's gone through is BS, but, you know, the way he said, like, I tried to save her, and then that one guy was like, oh, if you really did try to save her, you wouldn't be here. Which I think, you know, really, like, spoke mountains. Because, I mean, Theon didn't have anything to say after that. He just kind of just sat there and took it.
In his little reek mind.
Yes, in his little Reek mindset. And I think this really just shows, like, the effect that Ramsay Bolton really did have, like...
Still lingering.
Still lingering. I
With
know...
Sansa, too.
Yeah, not only with Theon, but with Sansa as well. Like, he really did have a profound effect on both of those characters. And, you know, I think something that I've seen pretty prevalent, like, throughout the season so far is how much the dead has really impacted, you know, like, the current characters of, you know, of Game of Thrones. Yeah, because, I mean, you know, Ramsay is long gone.
Right.
I mean, and he's still affecting, you know, Theon and Sansa. I mean, the Stark ancestors and stuff like that are still, you know, like, still affecting the way that Jon is going to see Daenerys and things like that. And, you know, like, you know, and then Marcella and all that stuff and everything like that. Everyone who's died is really, like, even though they're dead, you know, they're still, like, influencing the choices of the people who are alive, which is really cool to me to see, like, their legacy kind of live on, at least.
Everyone has a purpose, even after death.
Yes,
Sort of like
exactly,
that.
exactly.
So after Dragonstone, we go to King's Landing, where Euron is parading in the streets with, I think,
Yara and
Yara,
Alara.
is it
Tyne,
Tyne,
I think. I haven't heard someone say her name in a while.
Let me ask you this. I mentioned this on the last review. Did they change the actress for her? Because
No.
she had short hair at one point.
I think no. I'm pretty sure they're all the same.
I don't know.
girls.
I think they might have changed the actress.
Really?
Yeah, because
it
her
looked like the
eyes
same
look
girl to
different.
me.
Her eyes look different. It's like because the previous actress, like her eyes are really big. This one doesn't look like her eyes are.
Her eyes seem pretty big to me. In
I
this
don't know.
episode.
I'll have to look that up later, but I think she might have changed the actress.
It looked like the same actress to me. I didn't think anything of it.
And if
like
not,
the
she
other
grew her
girls.
hair really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're kind of parading through the street. Euron's just like, look at me, I'm the best.
Yes.
He brings them to Cersei, and we get the reveal that the gift was in fact Yara
And
and the twin
Alaria.
snakes.
Yeah.
So he kind of implies like, hey, so I gave you this gift. You want to marry me? She's just like,
You'll get your
After the war.
After the war, yeah.
and he's like, oh, I'm sad now. And when
No.
she goes to Jamie and says
Yeah,
like, hey,
I really like the way that he was speaking to Jamie afterwards. Because I mean, I know that Euron really does have this high horse, and you know, like he really talks the talk, and then seeing him walk the walk, like I said earlier. But I really liked how he not only like has he proven himself just like to Cersei, but like he knows how to get on Jamie's nerves. Like when he was like like asking Jamie for tips,
Yeah.
you know, like intimate tips, like on how to be
Sexual
with
tips.
to be with Cersei.
Gross
and like
things.
yes, like I really like how I guess I don't know how open he was with it, because I know that like throughout the majority, or like in the earlier seasons at least, like people who knew about like the incestuous like relationship between Jamie and Cersei, like they were really kind of more quiet about it. But now, like I mean,
I guess
like,
everyone knows at this point.
everyone knows at this point, of course,
Right.
but like I guess it's just still like surprising to me to see like Euron just blatantly, you know, asking Jamie like and like you know with Cersei like
Right there.
5 feet away, you know,
Right.
like I thought that took like a lot of balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm really excited to see where Euron really, like, where his character goes in this.
I think he'll live up until like the last episode, or maybe even to the next season.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's gonna have, because everyone. I mean, at this point, he's becoming like the super hated villain.
Yes.
So I think they'll keep him there, just to, like keep people watching. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him die. So like,
Yeah.
I don't see him going anywhere. But
Anytime
like,
soon.
Yeah,
No,
he'll probably
definitely
stay
not.
there. After that, we go to the this dungeon under King's Landing,
Mm-hmm.
where Cersei has the mountain
and Ilaria
and Ilaria
and their daughter
and her daughter.
Yeah.
Sort of like, I guess they're chained up enough to where they can get like super close to each other, but they can't touch each other.
Yeah, they're like you have Ilaria chained up on one side and then
Right.
her daughter chained up on
Gagged
the other.
and everything.
Yeah, and they both can like see each other.
Cersei kind of gives this big old monologue about the type of revenge she could take out on the two of them.
Yeah, because Ilaria murdered Marcella in the previous season with the kiss of death.
Yeah, this like poison.
Yes, or the long kiss or something. It has
Right.
some actual name, but
It's this poison you can drink or put on your lips that you can
kiss another person,
yeah,
and
you
then
can kind of like transfer it.
yeah, and then you can take an antidote immediately afterwards,
Right.
and you'll be fine. But the person that you have infected will die.
Will die very slowly.
Yeah.
Which is what Cersei does to the daughter of Ilaria.
Yeah,
very poetically.
Tyene, I think we cannot pronounce her name right now, but it's the same way that that Cersei's daughter Marcella perished. So it was kind of a, I guess like it was poetic in a way. You know, like she said in there, like, you know, I could have your head, you know, bashed in just like Oberyn's, and so you can, and I really liked how you could like just see like the look on Ilaria's face,
The
like
breakdown of her character.
the gradual breakdown of her character, because going from, I remember seeing like, you know, when Oberyn was murdered by the Mountain, and like seeing the way that she reacted and the way that she picked herself back up, you know, like she became way more vengeful.
She was
and all
this
that
strong,
stuff.
vengeful character just to see her get like humbled once
Yeah,
more.
and just to have her brought like torn back down again by Cersei, and like to witness that, which of course like I wouldn't expect I didn't expect her to not break down, you know, like it would kind of like make me like question everything if she didn't break down.
Because at this point she's lost everything.
Yeah, at this point she's lost everything. She's lost her husband, you know, she's not at home. She's about to lose, she's lost all her daughters at this point, and you know, like, I mean, I don't even know like what Cersei's gonna even do with her at this point. You know, like Cersei said she wanted to keep her alive.
Just keep her alive,
and
I
to have
guess.
her think about her actions and stuff,
Maybe
and
the mountain,
watch
maybe
her
the
daughter
mountain will
die.
torture her or something after
Yeah.
that.
So that was I thought it was a very good scene. It was very emotional.
Very well shot.
Yeah, I thought that the acting in it was very good. Like, I love, like, I guess the acting in Game of Thrones, because they really do go all out. Like, not only do they go out with, like, cinematography and plot and, you know, like, script and, like, you know, a bunch of details, but, like, the acting in general is just, it's always pretty
It's very
good.
good.
Yeah.
Especially in that scene.
Yeah.
I think that was probably my favorite scene of the
Definitely.
episode.
Just
If not
it was-
the ending.
Of course, like, it's so raw, and just seeing them like two like women, like very strong women, you know, like come head to head, and just, I don't know, I guess seeing Cersei like getting like revenge on all of her enemies, just like, because I mean, so far she's gotten revenge on so many people.
Right.
Like, they've
It's
done
kind
her
of
wrong.
this season further proves how like crazy and maniacal Cersei is.
Yes, definitely.
Um,
Cersei is like changed completely
Right.
since the death of her children. Because I mean, if you compare Cersei now to when, you know, all three of her children were alive, two completely different people.
I mean, she was mean, but I mean,
Not as mean, not as like ruthless.
She's
not
kinda
as, like,
rude.
I mean, she has nothing left to lose at this
Right.
point. All her children are dead. Like the people that like mean most to her.
she's worn black in every scene that
Yeah.
she's been in, so that probably tells you a lot.
Just
She's
like Olenna.
Still mourning. After that, we get the very strange and awkward scene that.
Yeah, with Cersei and
Jaime.
Jaime. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to point out. So she had this poison, right? She drank the antidote. She's fine.
And then she
Still.
immediately goes and makes out with her brother.
Still, that you don't know if those fumes are gone or not. Like,
Yeah,
there
I mean,
could
she
still
drank
be a
the
little bit
antidote,
left.
but like I said, she has nothing left to
That's
lose
the
at
most.
this point.
Well, she have Jamie, but that's the most risky thing you could have done. Is
I
just
mean,
go
she
make out
really
with him
doesn't
later.
care. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess like that entire scene was kind of like a turn on for her, and then she just immediately went in and saw Jamie. But just seeing the difference, like how her and Jamie used to, you know, like hide the relationship to now. I mean, not only is Cersei like queen of the Seven Kingdoms, you know, but like she really, really acknowledges this. She's like, I'm the queen. I can do whatever I want.
Right.
So you know, the end of
Arrogance.
her and Jamie's fun night, you know, they
Call it a
have
fun
a
night.
servant come and knock on the door, and the servant announces that she has a guest from Bravos, and
Yes.
you know, Cersei just opens the door naked.
She's like, whatever.
Yeah, and she opens the door with Jamie, you know, naked in bed as well, and she's just like, we need new sheets, and you know, just I guess.
She's kind of like Robert now in how arrogant she is.
Yeah, it's like she's definitely grown a lot more confidence
Mm-hmm.
since like from the beginning of the series to now.
Right.
Like because her being queen is really like, you know, it's changed her in a way. Because, you know, like if you were to compare her from like last season to now, she is different. She is more ruthless. She is more like, she doesn't care anymore, really. Because, I mean, like, she has nothing left to lose anymore. Like, I mean, she loses the throne, she loses Jamie. That's it. Those are the only people that, like, only two things that she really cares about at this point.
Exactly. After that, like Sam previously mentioned, she meets a banker from Bravos.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that, I don't know, that scene kind of just further proves that, like, not everyone is kind of with her on this.
Yeah.
Banker Bravos is very, like...
I guess to me, the biggest surprise was seeing Mark Gatiss in Game of Thrones, because I watched Sherlock and stuff, and he played Mycroft, which is Sherlock's brother in Sherlock. So seeing Mark Gatiss in Game of Thrones was just kind of like, oh, that's him. You know, I didn't feel the same way, you know, like when Ed Sheeran was in Game of Thrones. It wasn't anger, but it was just like, oh, he's in there.
The cameo works.
Yeah, the cameo did work.
To it.
Yeah, there was a point to it. And he basically comes in and he just says that, that, you know, there's a war going on and that the Iron Bank of Bravos is going to pick the side who has the bigger chance of winning. And so he basically goes in there and he says, you know, starts naming all the things on Daenerys' side, how she has, like, the dragons, how she has the majority, like, how she has all these allies, and how, like, all the, like, you know, how basically things aren't looking too well for Cersei. And, you know, I was really impressed how Cersei really took control of the situation. Like, she really mirrored Tywin in that conversation. And even at the end of it, like, the banker says, like, oh, you are truly Tywin's daughter. Mm-hmm. Like, because the way that she spoke to him, like, just sounded something that, like, Tywin would say in the earlier seasons. And I think that, like, just shows how much that she's changed, how much she's, like, evolved and all that stuff, because seeing Cersei from, you know, in the earlier series when, like, her father wasn't taking her seriously and getting upset at her and all that stuff, and she wasn't being as strong and all that, to now, like, she's become, like, I guess, like, and she's become a lot like her father.
Right.
And her father was very ruthless and very powerful and stuff. And I think Cersei is really, you know, exercising her power correctly. You know, like, she's having people fear her. She's very convincing and all that stuff. So, that scene was, I don't know, it just felt... What did you think of it?
It wasn't pointless. It was just kind of... I guess that's probably going to be more important later.
Yeah.
When the actual action starts picking up.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just giving you a sense of, oh, well, who's going to get, you know, funded on that side. Other than that, I guess, like, for now, it was a good cameo, and then it was just probably a point that's going to come up later. Or not.
Yeah, or not. Mm-hmm.
Again, it's probably just further the fact, like Sam said, like, she's just like her dad now, and then possibly couldn't get funded later in the future.
Yes, because he kind of just, like, she kind of just, like, assures him, like, hey, stay here for a week or two, be our honored guests, and by the time you leave, we will have paid our debt back. Which I'm very intrigued to see how she pays the debt back, because, you know, the Lannisters, like he said, like, their gold mines have run empty. You know, I'm intrigued to see how she's going to pay them back. So she's either anticipating that.
All right. Sorry about that. With these Canon cameras, they cut off at 30 minutes. So we're back again, like we mentioned. That scene probably is gonna just, I don't know. She's probably gonna kill him.
I guess,
it's Cersei.
I don't know. Yeah, it is Cersei.
That or just give him, like, send him to, like, one of the prostitution houses or something.
I guess, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what Cersei's gonna do. Because, I mean, she's surprised me up until this point, so I don't really want to try to guess what she's gonna do.
Right. I don't know. It's just, yeah.
So we leave off from there.
We go from the King's Landing to the north.
Yes.
Where Sansa is kind of becoming a nice little leader. She's getting stuff done. And then, you know, I don't know. Winterfell doesn't look as good as we thought, I guess. They're kind of... Also, that shows, like... So, when Sansa's kind of walking around Winterfell, she's starting to fix, like, certain things. She gets informed of the, like, amount of food supply that they have is very low. And she kind of fixes that problem. She say, hey, just gather everyone's food together so we can, you know, survive here, and then if we don't use it, send it back.
Yeah.
She's kind of like politicking.
Yeah, you start to see her that she really has a knack for ruling and all that stuff. And you have Littlefinger kind of whisper in her ear and tell her, like, hey, you are really good at this.
Baelish being Baelish.
Yeah. And I still don't know what Littlefinger is, I guess, like, what his plan is now.
I think he just wants to be, like, at the top of
Yeah.
everything. He wants to rule. I don't know. He wants to be in a place of power. That way he can survive.
Yeah, but I mean, he said so before. Like, I mean, he even told John in the last episode that he loves Sansa. Like, it's not some like he. Like, I know that's why I said, like, I doubt that he really truly wants to be with Sansa, but it's just, I can't really, like, see, like, I guess what his plan here is, because, I mean, like, John openly threatened him, saying, like, if you touch my sister, I will kill you myself, and, like, he's just kind of, I don't know, he's just, like, lurking, and, like, following Sansa, whispering in her ear, like, I mean, he tells her, like, don't expect anything, like, if you expect everything, like, you won't be surprised, and all that stuff. And, like, I feel that he is giving her good advice in a sense, but, like, I think that definitely, like, he's influencing her too much.
Yeah, I don't think the intentions are pure.
Yes.
I definitely think that he's just trying to I don't know, he's just trying to survive. So by that, the easiest way for him to do that is become at least close to being the Lord of Winterfell. If not, maybe, like, a hand in that sense of, like, Sansa.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he expects... Maybe he's planning something to where Jon doesn't come back. I don't know.
Maybe. I have no idea.
But for now, it's still a question of what Littlefinger wants.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get the Bran returns.
Yes.
Bran returns to Winterfell.
So, in the middle of this discussion of Sansa and Littlefinger, talking, and he's being all mysterious and, being, like you said, being Baelish. Being Baelish. Someone comes and notifies Sansa, like, to come to the gate. And so,
big old crowd.
Yes, big old crowd. Everyone's gathering around, and for me, when I was watching, I was thinking, "Oh my gosh, Arya's back." I had completely forgotten about Bran because that's just, I don't know, something that
we haven't seen him since the first episode.
Yes, like we hadn't seen him since the first episode. He was absent all of season 5, and then like in season 6, like it wasn't really even primarily focused on him. So I completely forgot about him. I thought it was a surprise. Like when she sees him and like she sees Mira, and she just immediately hugs him. And I think it's really cool to see how much everyone has changed. Because, I mean, like, when Arya in the previous episode, when she sees Hot Pie, Hot Pie asked her, like, what happened to you?
Right.
Like, they've all changed so much. Sansa's changed, Jon has changed, Bran has changed. Yeah, Arya's changed. And so I really liked how when Arya saw Bran, like, she hugged him and all that stuff, and, like, they immediately go to the Godswood. They're sitting there, and she's telling him, like, oh, like, you're
technically
the true born.
Technically, you're the Lord of Winterfell.
Yeah,
right?
Which, she's not wrong, because, I mean, no one really knows about Jon's lineage except for Bran, and Bran says, like, oh, well, I can't be, Lord of Winterfell.
I'm the Three-Eyed Raven now.
I'm the Three-Eyed Raven. And, like, the way that he was explaining that to her was just very poor. But, I mean, I also understand because, like, he was just telling her, like, I'm the Three-Eyed Raven. And then Sansa's like, well, what does that mean? And he goes, like, I'm the Three-Eyed Raven. I can't hold any...
It's basically too much of an explanation.
Yeah, which I totally understand. But, like, it's just, I could see her, like, she's just really confused and, like...
What it really was is, we don't have enough time to explain this to you, Sansa.
Yeah.
I have to do it off screen.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that she really, like... I really liked how it was so cool how Bran kind of like described to her exactly how she looked like on her wedding day to Ramsay. Like how pretty she looked in that white dress and stuff. And like you could see the look on Sansa's face, like, oh my gosh, like he does know. And so I can tell for her it was like confusion, but also like she's kind of frightened in a way. Because I mean, like Bran has changed so much, and just to like, I guess, going so many years without seeing your brother, and then like finally seeing your brother again. Like last time you saw him was a little boy, now he's like this all-knowing, wise
teenager.
All-knowing, wise teenager who like genuinely does know everything.
Right.
Like I can understand why she just like she got up and she just walked away.
Yes.
So
like she just kind of left him there. He can't go anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't think about that till you just brought that up. He's paralyzed, so he's just sitting there.
You just kind of left him to sit there, and like no one was. That was it. He was just by himself. So why'd you leave him there?
Yeah, like was he like, hey?
You could at least give him like I don't know. He can't float yet.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming he probably can soon, but
yeah.
Something. So yeah, that was it for the North. Not much.
Oh, and then Bran also brings up that he wants to talk to Jon, which assumingly is probably going to bring up his lineage or tell him about it, because Jon has no idea. Sansa has no idea. No one really has any idea, except I would say Littlefinger. He was like hinting to Sansa in earlier seasons how like Lyanna may have not have been raped, and it may have not been against her will as everyone thought. Because I remember like he did bring it up to her when she was downstairs in the tombs. Yeah. In like I think last season, or it could have been the season before. I'm pretty sure it was last season though. So I'm really excited to see how this how Bran and Jon
we're coming to a head. It's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there, definitely.
Right.
But it might be a while considering that John is all the way in Dragonstone.
You think that, but I mean, I also thought John. I also thought John and Daenerys weren't going to meet until like next season. Mm-hmm. 2 episodes later, I was wrong. So I mean, this season's moving pretty fast. So maybe he'll just be back in like the next 2 episodes.
Hopefully, maybe.
He has to go back because he has to get all his people to come mine the dragon glass. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, we'll probably will get it, and then when John goes back to Dragonstone, he'll be like, you're my aunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that will be a whole thing.
That'll be a whole other thing. Yeah, because there's a lot of speculation whether or not that John and Daenerys get together romantically, because she says a comment to him like after she allows him to mine all the dragon glass, and he's like, oh, so you believe me, like you do believe the White Walkers are real and stuff, and she's like, you better get to work, Jon Snow. And like the way when she said that, I immediately thought of Ygritte, and I know that at least Jon would that would have reminded him of Ygritte, because the way that Ygritte was like, nothing Jon Snow.
I don't want to think of John's younger aunt. Mm-hmm. Ending up being his romantic interest.
But I mean, it's Game of Thrones. I mean, Cersei and Jaime are twins.
And then Yara and Theon.
Yeah, Yara and Theon. Yeah, so.
So
who knows?
After that weird scenario in the north, we go to the Citadel, where we see Jorah's fully cured. He's fine, and I don't know. It doesn't look as gross as I thought it was gonna look.
Yeah.
I guess it healed in a matter of hours, I guess. Mm-hmm. Now it just kind of looks like you get a bad sunburn. Like really bad sunburn. Like 2nd degree sunburn.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, it was just, I thought it was so cool how in the last episode how they had that, that sequence of... That
gross,
really gross sequence of, of Sam peeling everything off of Jorah and all that stuff, and then immediately going into, into Hot Pie and Arya, and, oh, God. People who watched the last episode will know what I'm talking about.
Don't think about it, because
don't think about it. But I was really proud of Sam. I mean, really, if you see him from season 1 to now, how much he's grown. Mm-hmm. Really, how much Jon has really given him this sense of purpose and confidence and stuff like that.
He's becoming his own man. He's
more
independent.
Yes, definitely. And I am excited to see how things play out, because I mean, Jorah is gonna go back to meet up with Daenerys, and we'll probably tell him about Sam, and if Jon's there, mm-hmm. Jon's will be like, oh, that's I know Sam, I sent him to the Citadel or something.
Yes.
I wonder how Daenerys will take all that.
Right. So instead of getting punished, he kind of just, the Archmaester Raymond, he kind of just says you weren't supposed to do that, but I mean, you saved this man's life.
Yeah.
And I can't really punish you for that, but instead I'm gonna make you copy all these scrolls.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get punished, but he's just kind of he's getting more respect in the Citadel. He's becoming a better.
Yeah. He's really making a name for himself, because you go from the first episode where he's just cleaning up everyone's feces and things that, and to now where now he's finally making his way up.
Yeah, getting respect and stuff like that.
Yeah, and everybody in Game of Thrones has a purpose, like you said. So I'm still, I guess, intrigued to see where Sam's story goes, because I mean, I know that Sam has to be essential to the story at this point, mm-hmm. if he's made it this far.
I think he's the information dump. So he'll get anything that needs to progress the story, mm-hmm. and some sort of backstory we need, mm-hmm. it'll come from Sam, and he'll inform someone, and then he'll inform everyone else.
Yeah, and there's actually this theory that Sam is actually the person who writes a song of Ice and Fire, because in the previous episode, that Archmaester was talking about how he was writing that book and all that stuff, and then Sam kind of just made that face. He's like, "What? You don't like the title?" And then Sam goes, "Oh, I would pick something a little more poetic." Mm-hmm. And stuff. So I mean, I guess if you it's just a theory, because I mean, if you look at the opening sequence this right here, this looks just exactly like that thing in the Citadel where Sam is, and
Turns out Sam is actually he's actually the author of the book.
Yeah, I mean, he could be. This is just some this is just a small theory, but it's nice to think that
that'd be cool. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, it would be cool, especially seeing when everyone first watches Game of Thrones and seeing how timid and scared and cowardly Sam is, mm-hmm. to now he might be the one who really cements all this into history.
So that technically mean George R.R. Martin is just Sam?
Maybe that is
His ancestor is Samuel Tarly.
Yeah.
That's why
maybe.
George R. R. Martin becomes the main character of his own book.
Right. I love that.
After the Citadel, we go to Castle Rock, where Grey Worm and the Unsullied begin their sort of takeover, and they do it without much resistance, which comes to a surprise of them. Turns out Euron was just burning their ships as they were doing this the whole time.
I really liked how the way that they showed the fight scene was kind of Tyrion narrating it, talking about what the Unsullied like
Are
was
going to do.
what they were going to do once they hit Castle Rock. And so I liked that compared to like them showing every single thing in like the in the battle, and like having it be, I guess, like 15 or 20 minutes compared to like it being shortened.
Right.
And I feel that because Tyrion narrated it, and because the Unsullied got to take over Castle Rock with Tyrion's help. Not only did he tell them what to do, but because of his younger self, how he put in all those sewers and stuff for underneath his home and things like that. I think it was just really funny how his entire family basically set him up for this, for him to be in this moment, for him to be the hand of Daenerys, to be going against his own family and all that stuff. 'Cause, I mean, they've treated him terribly since the moment he was born.
Right.
And he built the sewers underneath his house, and he's never gotten any respect from his family, except really from Jaime. And I really like the way that it was shot, the way that it was done. I really like that because I don't know, sometimes in Game of Thrones things are kind of drawn out a little bit.
Yeah,
So-
this season's moving really fast, and I like that.
And I like that because the showrunners have insisted it's gonna end next season, next year. That's it. So I think they're really getting to the point, which I like, because they spent so much time setting it up and all that, and now it's finally it's all happening, it's all coming to an end and stuff.
Right. So Grey Worm and I guess some of the Unsullied are stuck on Castle Rock without any ships because Euron has now burned them all. Which I guess Euron would be kind of going to Castle Rock to finish them off. So we leave them there. Next, we go to Highgarden,
Yes.
where Jaime has taken Highgarden,
Yes.
and now the Lannisters control that whole place,
Yes.
which is crazy.
It is crazy. I really like the way how they showed. Everyone was anticipating that the Lannisters are really gonna have a firmer hold onto Castle Rock. They weren't gonna give up as easily. And so you see Grey Worm go up to a Lannister soldier, where is the rest of the army? I know this is not all of them. And the way that they show it, it shows Jaime leading the rest of the Lannister army, and the way that they do it makes you assume that it's gonna come up behind Castle Rock, and you're thinking oh my god, Grey Worm and everyone else is it's gonna die because their ships got burned, Euron's there and all that stuff, this is the end. And then just have to have it kind of be surprise, we're not in Castle Rock, we're in Highgarden.
We're gonna go kill all the Tyrells.
Yeah, exactly.
Which they did.
Yeah, which they did. They completely annihilated everybody there.
And finally, to end the episode, we have a conversation with Jaime and Olenna Tyrell. They kind of have this, I don't know, I guess Jaime has this sort of respect for her as well. She kind of just tells him hey, Cersei's a disease. She's gonna betray you.
Yeah,
You need to
basically
not.
telling him what's going to come. Because I mean,
Right.
I really like the conversation that Olenna had with Daenerys in the previous episode, saying I've had a lot of clever men spoken to me, and I've outlived all of them. And stuff. I think she knows what's going to happen.
She's very wise.
Yeah, she's very wise, and so I feel she's really telling Jaime, literally what's going to happen, that Cersei is a disease and she's a monster, and at this point it's just she's gone too far.
Exactly.
And all that stuff. And so I really like how Jaime is also really developed as a character from I guess at the beginning of the show to now, seeing the stark differences between him and Cersei. How Cersei's really become so vengeful and so evil and all that stuff. And he told Olenna oh, I talked her out of killing you in a very hurtful and harmful way. You're getting that quick, painless death.
Right. He puts poison into her wine. And he's I'm gonna leave you with this, so you don't have to die painfully.
Yeah.
And before she takes a swig, she reveals that she was
she
the one.
takes she swings
Oh yeah, rather.
the entire
She does
thing.
swig it, and then she reveals to Jaime that
Mm-hmm.
She was in fact the one that poisoned Joffrey, not Tyrion.
Yes, and she's just like, oh, is this gonna hurt? And he's like, no. And she chugs the entire thing, and then she, goes on and says like, oh, well, she talks about how Joffrey was a monster and all that stuff, and like she, like you said, she admits to him that she was the one who actually ordered Joffrey to die,
right.
Which up until this point, Jaime and Cersei believe that it was Tyrion who did that. So now Jaime knows the truth. And, Olenna's dying, and she's like, I just wanted Cersei to know that it was me. So I'm intrigued to see how this, affects, it affects the future, I guess, meet up with Cersei and Jaime. Because I know it's going to happen at one point.
Right.
But they are all going to meet up, but,
Presumably in the next episode.
Yeah, presumably.
Yeah.
But, I mean, last time that Cersei and Tyrion saw each other, Cersei was accusing Tyrion of murdering her son.
Exactly.
And so now Jaime knows that's not true, and I don't know. Do you think that he's gonna tell her?
I think he'll tell her, but it won't change anything. Cersei will just kind of close her eyes and do that weird face that she does when she's mad, and then just kind of go, well, I didn't like him anyways. And then that's gonna be it. Which I think will. If that doesn't throw Jaime over the edge, it will just continue to just push him to where he might betray Cersei in the end.
Because that prophecy that Cersei was told by that woman in the woods when she was young,
Mm-hmm.
She said that all her kids were going to die before her, she was going to become the queen, and that her younger brother was going to kill her. But
exactly.
It could be Tyrion or Jaime because
Right.
she's the oldest. So yeah, I was very, very satisfied with this episode compared to I guess the past two, because I think things are just picking up. Everything is going so fast, and at the end of every episode they show the little snippet for the next one and all that stuff, and you see how things are not really going to slow down.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, we're fast on that roller coaster. We're going.
Yeah.
Okay, so our camera we now have two people in here. That's why I thought noise is going on. No, just grab a chair. It's fine.
It's fine. Just go ahead, be loud. It's okay.
There's 3 chairs right over there. Why'd you gotta grab that one?
Because he's cute.
And you don't want to pick it up either. You gotta drag it across the floor.
It's okay.
Anyways, so our camera stopped again because apparently the card was full. But this time it's free, so we assure you we'll not break up again. Sorry for the weird edits, if there's any. So, as I was saying, what is your prediction for the next episode, Sam?
I think that things are really just going to speed up. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I did see the little preview for the next episode, and I see how desperate Daenerys is becoming. I see how Cersei is really starting to, continue her upper hand on this, and I'm really excited but just worried because I think Daenerys is really going to take Olenna's advice on being a dragon, because I do appreciate that Daenerys and Tyrion have really tried to be diplomatic in the way that they want to take over King's Landing. They don't want to murder thousands of innocent people and all that stuff, but I don't think that that's really going to get them the Iron Throne, because that's playing the right way and Cersei's playing dirty.
Exactly.
If Cersei were taking the high road like Daenerys was, I think this would be going differently. I don't think Daenerys would be losing 3 allies and all that stuff, but I think now this shows Daenerys is done playing nice. This is really going to show her how badly do you want the throne? Are you going to continue to to try to do this the good way, or are you just going to take it? And so I think that she's just going to probably hop on Drogon and and all her dragons and just go towards King's Landing. But I'm also worried about that because I know that Qyburn has that that device that could take out one of her dragons. So I think that
I don't know if that can actually do anything.
I know, but that's the thing. I don't know what to expect because there's a lot of things I wouldn't expect that happened.
Right.
So I think that it's just definitely going to pick up in pace, that things are going to get more intense, that there's going to be more plot twists and stuff like that. And I still wonder every episode where Gendry is, but one day I guess he'll come back, hopefully. But I'm really excited. I'm excited for Arya to come home. I'm excited for Jon to come home and to finally talk with Bran and learn a couple things that we've all known and speculated for a long time. I'm excited to see what Daenerys, does and how Tyrion takes everything. 'Cause, Tyrion really does think, he's all wise and he knows everything and stuff. And not saying, that he doesn't
Right.
and everything, but, I think it's just a big wake-up call, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see where the series goes with the remaining 4 episodes left. Because, there's only 4 episodes left, and then next season, and that's it.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is done. And then there's the spin-offs, but it's...
I don't think we'll get spin-offs till, like, a very long time.
Yeah, but it's coming, definitely. Game of Thrones
Maybe.
is way too big of a moneymaker for HBO for them not to do anything.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I really hope that... as much as I love all the characters that are alive right now, I know that a lot of them are bound to die. So I guess I'm just really excited for things just to continue going. I kind of just wanted to, like, get it over with in a sense, Because, my all-time favorite character died in season 4, Oberyn Martell. So I've just kind of just...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I've just kind of gotten...
R.I.P.
Yep. I've kind of just, like, accepted that everyone I love in that show dies. So I'm just really excited for Sunday.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you so much for watching. We apologize how long this was, but hour-long shows require hour-long reviews. So tune in next week for our episode 4 review. It might be me, it might be Ed, it might be 2 completely different people. Who knows?
It's a rotating cast.
Exactly. So again, I'm Samantha De Leon.
I'm Eduardo Flores.
And thank you so much for watching. Go Cougs.